Hi friends, Tony DeWitt here, Missouri appellate attorney and a guy who likes to make the law make sense on YouTube. Here's what we're discussing today. A day or so ago, the Supreme Court of the state of South Carolina issued this order. Appellant asks this court to certify the appeal for review by this court pursuant to Rule 204. The motion is granted. One thing that's notable about that order is that it does no more than transfer the case to the South Carolina Supreme Court. Now, I've heard a lot of people read a lot of things into this, which I don't think necessarily is a good idea, because it is impossible to tell from this order what the state Supreme Court has on its mind. Now, here's why I don't think anybody needs to be too worried about this. First of all, Murdaugh's not going to get out of prison anytime soon. The financial crimes have him locked up for a long, long time. Probably what will amount to a life sentence anyway. But more importantly than that, you need to remember who the Supreme Court assigned to handle the motion for a new trial, and the person that they appointed was Judge Toll. And Judge Toll did a thorough and comprehensive review. And you need to remember that credibility determinations belong with Judge Toll. In other words, the Supreme Court is not going to say, well, I find witness A to be more credible than witness B, or I like their testimony better than Judge Toll likes it. That's not going to be the case. Judge Toll was tasked with sitting as a trial judge, and given her wealth of experience, I think the Supreme Court is going to be deferential to her factual decisions. Now, if she made an error of law, I think they would reverse it, but I don't think they're going to reverse her factual determinations simply because she really has such a long and storied history as a South Carolina Supreme Court judge. Does that mean that they're going to necessarily approve of what that stupid clerk did in this case? No. They're not going to give Becky Hill an inch on this. They're going to call her out pretty much the way Judge Toll did and say she's a brain-dead twit for having done what she did. And, the idea that you can make money off of a book because you were the clerk when you didn't have any real activity in the case, all you did was shepherd the jurors back and forth. In my opinion, that's a really stupid way to try to make money. So again, I think the Supreme Court is not going to be particularly deferential to Becky Hill. Will they be deferential to the judge who tried the case? Again, that I don't know. There are all kinds of evidentiary issues that came up in the course of the trial that could cause a reversal, particularly the admission of all the financial crimes. Now, will that result in a reversal? Having read some of the cases that the parties relied on, I don't think so. Again, very much like the fact-finding that the trial judge did here, the evidentiary decisions are entitled to great discretion. It is a judge's discretion that determines what evidence is admissible and what isn't. Sure, there are rules, but where it's a close call, generally speaking, the judge gets the benefit of the doubt. So I don't think they're going to be reversed on any of those, but I feel like it is probably far more likely that a reversal would come on something like that than it would come on the basis of Becky Hill's ridiculous comments. And again, that's just because Judge Toll heard the matter, heard it fairly, heard it over an extensive period of time. And then there is the, what I would call, corruption factor at issue here. And I think we just have to deal with that. There is a perception that when you have a lawyer like Murdaugh, who has a long history, his family has been in politics, his family members have been judges in that court and in other courts, that creates the perception that there's somebody back there behind the scenes pulling the strings, trying to get a reversal in this case. And I don't think the Supreme Court wants to let that be carried forward. I think they want to make sure that justice was done. I'm sure they will give this a very comprehensive review. But at the end of the day, I think we're going to wind up with the Supreme Court affirming the trial judges in this case and affirming the life sentence. And again, that's just because the evidence really is fairly overwhelming, especially when you consider the testimony of Murdaugh, the fact that all of this testimony is out there on videotape if the judges want to go look at it. All they have to do is get on YouTube. They can view the whole trial if they wanted to. So that creates an issue in my mind as to what the court's going to do If there is a reversal, I think it'll come on some evidentiary or legal point. I don't think it's going to come on the basis of what Becky Hill did, simply because they're going to defer to Judge Toll on that. That's my read. I could be completely wrong on this. Now, I don't know whether they're going to reverse or not, but if they reverse, it doesn't mean he walks free, right? It just means he gets a new trial. And it reinstates the criminal charges, and it essentially requires a new trial in front of a new judge and a new jury. The question is, at least for Murdaugh, how do you unring the bell? There is not anybody in South Carolina, there's probably not anybody in the United States, who hasn't heard something about that case. They've got to draw a jury from South Carolina, and they've got to draw somebody who can be fair. They have to draw a jury who may be aware that he was convicted before, but we'll put that aside and we'll decide the case on the basis of the evidence. Now, interestingly enough, I don't think Murdaugh will testify in his retrial if he gets one. I think they will try and make the case as best they can on the evidence that they have, and I think they've got more than enough to convict. Prosecutors always want to be able to nail down every escape route. They can't always do that, so they do the best that they can. At the end of the day, I still believe that the evidence is all there to get him a conviction. At any rate, that's what I've got for you today. Hopefully you found this interesting, and it's a short one, I know, but there isn't a whole lot on this order to talk about, and the only thing we really can do is speculate about what the Supreme Court's going to do. I don't think we need to do that. I think we need to just sit back and let them do what they do and be glad we do have, and be glad Murdaugh has the opportunity to take it to the Supreme Court. I want justice done. I don't want injustice done. If indeed there was such a critical error that it demands to be reversed, absolutely reverse it. Then take him to trial and do it again. And you get whatever you get that second time around. That's the way our system works. And I'm glad we have that system, because a lot of innocent people have been freed through that system. Do I think Murdaugh is innocent? I don't think so. But then again, I don't get a vote because I don't live in South Carolina, and I'm not likely to be a juror in a retrial. Again, that's what I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. If you have the opportunity today, go out of your way, make some time, do a little kindness for someone. If you have any comments, drop them in the comments down below. You can email me at the address above. And again, have a marvelous day. Catch me down here at the beach again tomorrow. If you like this video, here are a few others you might try, and don't forget to subscribe. Have a terrific day, guys.